Hey, it's Tpok. I'm back in Katawa Shoujo. It's been a while because of Thanksgiving stuff. Haven't been able to record much. So, yeah. The feeling of walking through the streets is one of very deep nostalgia. While Yamaku may be like the reverse of where I've lived in the past, the city at night is amazingly familiar. My eyes are moving constantly from the bright electronic screens glowing high in the night sky to the street lamps piercing the darkness with their light, to the businessmen enjoying themselves after work and the busily talking couples on dates. Even if I didn't want to, I can't help soaking in every aspect of the city. I savor its familiarity like a sweet candy sitting on my tongue. Lily's even taller than her sister. Whoa. Lily is walking to my left with her cane swaying to and fro, holding onto her sister's arm for guidance while talking to her. That weird Sigma mouth thing. Compared to traveling by taxi or bus, being driven by Akira in a rather nice car was a much more enjoyable experience. Oh, Hanako. Nice hat. Maybe not for the person on my right, though. While Lily was used to her sister's driving style, and I quite liked a bit of excitement, Hanako was holding very tightly to the door for most of the trip. Everything looks so pretty at night. Hanako quickly looks down yet again as she accidentally catches someone's gaze. Gaze. Yeah, it does. My answer isn't very thoughtful since I'm distracted by so many thoughts that I find it hard to keep up on small talk. One of those distractions, aside from the city sights, is how Hanako looks. This is the first time I've seen her something other than her school uniform or her pajamas. It gives me pause when I first saw her outfit when we met up at the school gate. Considering how much her head is lowered when people walk near us, I imagine that the hat she wears is more than a fashion statement. While initially I was wary of Lily's plan to take us out into the city, when night fell, it became obvious that she had thought about this. Not many people have paid Hanako much heed since the darkness hides her scarring well. So, we're in the city. Any ideas of what to do? I gotta say, those eyes still scare me. Akira beams a smile. Something tells me that she's the one who is making this particular decision, even if her sister may have proposed the outing in the first place. You'll see. Just follow us. I nod and try my best to stifle a grimace. After what happened during Hanako's birthday party, I don't trust Akira's judgment all that much. We keep walking, and I notice that we're passing more and more cafes, restaurants, and other eateries. Every once in a while, a drunken man in a suit comes out of a bar, usually being supported by another, but for the most part, the customers around this part of the city look young and fashionable. Different kinds of music come and go as we pass by each business. The discord created by the overlap should be grating, but it reminds me so strongly of the times I spent in the city with my old friends that I don't mind. Excuse me. Hanako and I have started to drift a little apart from Lily and Akira. That comes to a stop when I hear a soft thud from beside me. Sorry. By the time she rights herself from her apologetic bow, the middle-aged businessman she bumped into is walking away after mumbling a half-hearted apology. Hanako looks a little off-put by the experience. As she quickly skips ahead to match my pace, I notice her head hanging low once more. She probably bumped into him because she was looking downwards and not where she was going. I stepped to the side a little and put one hand on her far shoulder, drawing her closer. Hisao? It's okay, you can walk closer to me if you want. That's a bit forward. Hanako hesitates, but eventually nods in assent. After a couple of times when I thought we'd arrived at Akira's destination, we'd reach our target. By now we're below the elevated walkways, and past the most garish and brightly lit places. I'm a bit surprised. The average age of those around us is distinctly older, and the smell of cigarette smoke is pretty thick. The area is far from seedy though, and it's a little amusing to see Lily's reaction to the smell of smoke. While it's masked by the low talking of those around us, jazz music can be heard emanating from inside. Looking up at the dimly lit sign, it becomes obvious why. A jazz club. I have to admit this isn't what I expected. Lily gives an amused snort and smile. Somehow I feel like I should have known it, Akira. As we talk outside, I notice more and more odd sideways glances directed our way. People awkwardly catch themselves staring and look away, but that just makes it more obvious. I had noticed this occasionally when we were walking, but it's more pronounced now. I've never experienced anything like that in my life. An average-looking Japanese teenage guy, just a little taller than normal, isn't the type to draw attention without making an effort. Hey, come on, just because you're teenagers doesn't mean you can't have a taste, right? Well, I don't really mind the music if that's what you mean. I don't mind it either. She's only just managing to force the words out. It contrasts heavily to when we were alone in Yamaku, and it disappoints me a little that she's so highly strung for what's supposed to be a good time out on the town. It's hard to read Hanako's face as she keeps looking downwards. It's a little wonder if she doesn't often come out into the city because of this, and it makes me a little thankful that my own scarring is easily hidden. Lily has a similar way of attracting people's gazes, but for the reason it is clearly different. She hardly looks like a native, and the same can be said for her sister. That much is far more noticeable than her blindness from a distance. She may not be able to see this for herself, but I have little doubt that she can hear the odd whispered phrase from people who think they are out of earshot. Be that as it may, she doesn't seem to show any sign of either annoyance or pleasure at the attention. Akira's still as confident as ever, though. Flashing a smile, she strides in with Lily by her side, and the two of us following behind. I had expected my eyes to need adjusting to the light inside, but it's not much brighter than outside. The music we'd heard is clearer now, mixed in with the sound of glasses moving on the tables and counter, and the husky chatter of the patrons. Looking to my right reveals the music's source, a jazz group playing beyond some tables. The patrons seem to be mostly men, and though there's a handful of women, nobody looks under 30, aside from us, of course. It feels a little like we've stepped into the 1920s, and the atmosphere is quite agreeable. I'm not completely comfortable simply because of my age, but were I older, I would probably feel quite at home. Hanako seems a bit more relaxed now, probably due to nobody looking at her. Everybody's talking between themselves, drinking or watching the band. And everyone's gone. Akira casually takes a seat at the counter without even glancing around. She's probably come here before. Lily retracts her cane, feeling out the bar stool at the edge of the counter before taking a seat beside her sister. The bartender takes a brief break from polishing a glass to watch her before putting it down and coming over. Good evening, ladies. What'll it be? Hisao? You weren't acknowledged. Just a scotch, thanks. Lily? May I... Oh. May I have a glass of champ... A black-suited elbow hits her side sharply. Orange juice, please. No problem. Coming right up. The bartender starts to pour their drinks. A couple of seconds pass before Akira suddenly remembers that Hanako and I are indeed here, and turns around to us. You two want anything, or are you just gonna stand there? Hanako seems to be getting a bit restless. No matter where we are going to seat ourselves, there's going to be people right next to her. And I don't think she looks convincingly older than 20, unlike Lily. Looking around, there's a game section to our right. A couple of billiards tables can be seen in the corner, and nobody's using them either. I glanced to Hanako, about to ask her if she'd like to play, but she's already looking longingly in the same direction. Maybe it says something that we can get by Maybe it says something that we can get by with so few words nowadays. We'll go play pool over there. Akira leans back to see past me before shrugging and sitting back up. It seems you will have to put up with only me for company. How unfortunate. Have fun, you two. We turn and set off for the abandoned corner, with Hanako taking the lead. The prospect of a nice quiet game away from everyone makes her walk noticeably faster. Her eyes stay firmly fixed on her prize. The table's full size and well lit despite the surrounding darkness thanks to the bright overhead lights. A huge painting of something covers the wall. There aren't many people milling about this corner of the club, and I can see Hanako becoming a little less tense as a result. You know how to play? I'm no expert, but yeah, I do. Wait a sec. Stripes and solids. Okay, that's why. That's why. Because we're playing pool. Stripes and solids is... I know how to play that, I think. That's when you just get in stripes if you're stripes and solids if you're solids. 8 ball is last. Then, 8 ball. Okay. Sure. Hanako gets the chalk and 2 cues from a set of hooks against one of the walls, while I fetch the balls from the table's pockets and grab the rack from a shelf underneath. She patiently waits as I get the table set up. After slotting the final ball into the rack and doing some last adjustments, I end up having to fight my perfectionist urges and getting to the bottom row of the balls exactly perpendicular with the edges. With the balls arranged and ready for play, I step back and take my cue from her outstretched arm. I carry out a quick inspection of the tip before I'm satisfied that it's in good condition. So you've played before? Once or twice. I just kind of know the rules. She's been studying, like chess. The air between us feels a little awkward. She's still pretty nervous, understandably, given that we're in public. Eventually the silence becomes too much for even Hanako, and she begins to quietly stammer. Who'll break? I think for a moment before reaching into my pocket and drawing a coin. I'll take heads, your tails. I think... Wait, heads statistically has won more than tails, right? By like... It's like 0.50002 or something like that. It's some very small amount that heads wins more than tails. After a nod of agreement from Hanako, I flick the coin up in the air, catch it, and flip it over onto the back of my left hand. It looks like you that gets to break. Looks like it's you that gets to break. Oh, okay then. Hanako nods again before taking up her position at the end of the table. She's not usually this quiet around me, but I'm not wholly sure if it's because of the tidbit of information about her past that slipped out moments ago. What? Moments ago? Like she's played before? The cue comes back in a practiced gesture before smacking dead into the center of the cue ball with a thud. The white ball skates across the smooth green and expands before smashing into the carefully arranged balls at the other end. Balls skitter across the table at high speed. The break was good, with the balls being nicely distributed around the table. My eyes are already flicking from one to another to pick out the easiest candidates to pocket. Hanako retreats from the side and I take my shot. Well done. It's only after Hanako says this that I realize the ball I was shooting at was sunk. I'm stuttering more than Hanako, come on. I look at her and notice a small smile on her face. It's nice how playing some games seems to loosen her up a little. Guess I'm stripes then. I take a step back and let her take the next shot, but she doesn't advance to the table. Rather, she looks down a little and rubs her arm. By now I can identify this as one of her gestures that means she wants to say something but isn't sure enough of herself to do it. What's up? It's just, you had a nice smile. Do you like playing this? I sigh and lean back against the table. I like playing, yeah. I think I was smiling because it's really nostalgic though. That might not have been a good response. Hanako tilts her head quizzically. Me and my friends used to play pool in the game centers near where I lived pretty often, and at night too. Wouldn't your parents? My parents both worked, so they didn't mind me not being in the house. I stayed on top of schoolwork pretty easily as well, so there was plenty of time to do other stuff at night. Our conversation dies down with Hanako's timidity getting the better of her. In response,